Hello, I'm Sharona Justman, the co-founder of the Israel Conference, and I'm joined today by Nikhil Jain, the Vice President of Technology for Wearables from Qualcomm, who's come today to talk to us on the session called Innovation Nation. And I wanted to take a minute to ask you, Nikhil, what does Israel do for Qualcomm?
Oh, way too much to describe, but I think fundamentally Israel provides the little spice that goes into a lot of our groups that makes it really tick. They provide the clarity of thinking that we need. They provide this vigorous dialogue that helps us to get to reality very quickly. And they bring skills that are very difficult to find in many other places. So it's this culture that gets injected in the way we work that really helps us. And we're really proud to be part of that effort.
Do you find that in Qualcomm that there's in general a focus on excellence and high quality? So the companies that Qualcomm works with in Israel, or the companies that Qualcomm has acquired in Israel, do they help add to Qualcomm's international brand prestige?
Well, Qualcomm makes investments for a bunch of reasons. One is to understand technology, is to find things that are going to be good for us in the long run. The second reason to invest is to help grow the ecosystem, so that, cell phones surrounded by different things around it, applications, hardware, and so on. So we fund these companies that help us grow the ecosystem. And finally, we invest to actually get good returns. So in Qualcomm, in Israel, we have invested in companies like Waze, for example, which actually is an amazing example of how an application that started off by being an idea became like a core thing that we use every day. And it sort of enhances what a cell phone has, and because a cell phone has to do more, it improves the value of the cell phone, which increases our average selling price. So this little idea that starts with the startup in Israel ends up providing a lot of value to Qualcomm in the end. So that's how it works.
That's beautiful. And wearables, that's the focus of yours. Do you have a wearable that has some technology that you want to show us?
Yeah, so this is a watch called Talk that Qualcomm actually had built as an experiment to see what wearables can do. And it used a special technology called Mirrosol, which was a reflective display that consumed very little power. So this watch, with your full use, can last up to 7 days with the full touch UI. And we did this watch to understand what would it take to do the wearable. And by the way, the designer for this watch was an Israeli guy called Gad Chenan, who lives in San Diego, California.
Beautiful.
And so we put this watch out in the market to really understand the technology, even before anybody was talking about watches. And then we took many pieces that we had used to build this and are putting it into our chips. And today, pretty much most watches that you wear are probably have a Qualcomm chip in them. Very, very high penetration rate for watches that today are in the market. So that's typically how things happen at Qualcomm. They start, with a little experiment, little nudging, bunch of people sort of. Another interesting thing about Qualcomm is that the way Qualcomm works is a very open, non-hierarchical, say what you think is right kind of culture. And it's very much like
Israeli.
In some ways, yes, absolutely. And I think being that way takes a lot of guts, a lot of clarity in your head, the ability to simplify things and to actually engage. And I think those are all qualities that make all of us better together.
Absolutely. Nikhil, it's such a pleasure to have you at the Israel Conference and for many years to come, especially as Qualcomm has such a great influence in the Israel market. And thank you very much. I'm Sharona Justman. This is Nikhil Jain. We'll see you at the next conference.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you.